Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. And it is a brand new day. It is windy, chill, overcast mostly, but there were periods of sun when I was outside. But it also, at that point, it went into a driving mist before I came in. So it's supposed to rain a lot as well as be windy today. So it's not very pleasant. And I am having emotional stability problems today. Holy smokes. Before I turned on my tablet to start recording this, I was trying to think of what I had even done since yesterday. And it was having a draining and bleaching effect on my mood, as I couldn't think of anything that I had done. It was just all blank since yesterday's vlogging. Nothing. And that's not a good feeling. I've had going through my Steam library before, starting at the top and then not being able to find anything I wanted to play, and the further I got down the list, the more bleak and more despairing I felt, until when I got close to the bottom, I was emotionally devastated. It was a horrible feeling. And it's not that I was having, oh, I'm depressed because of the game situation. It's my emotional stability is shaky. It is good now compared to what it has been in the past. It's better now than it has been. But it is shaky. It is largely not underneath my control. Like the fact that I have cyclical depression, not under my control. My emotional stability, largely not under my control. And there are certain things that I find as triggers that aren't always the same trigger, but there's something underneath it that it connects to something, and that is what causes the underlying thing. And so, not being able to remember anything that I've done was starting to get bad. And so I realized I had forgotten to turn my fans up, went over, turned off my fans, sitting down here, was looking over at my computer desktop, and I felt it getting bad draining. So would sit down and start vlogging, or have my emotional stability go rocketing downhill, bouncing off every single rock and tree until, well, like Sisyphus, I have to push it up miles and miles and miles again. So, emergency vehicle. So, I'm vlogging largely because habit, emotional stability, and there are things that I want to talk about. I'm just hoping that I remember them, because yesterday has not been just a void, and today has not just been a void. But I do have habit, routine, and also it's a mental thing. I have no real person to talk to. My parents are dead, and I used to call my mother up and talk to her before she died. My wife is dead, and I used to talk to her before she died. With all of my withdrawing stuff and other issues that I have, I don't like to connect with people. I get anxious. I have social anxieties. I am largely happy being on my own, being around people, around human activities, around human artifacts, and just being on the periphery. But I am still a human being, and I'm not a hermit or a recluse, so I do need to talk. But when I'm around people, even if I seek someone out to be with them, the very moment I am interacting, inside my head is counting the moments until I can get away. And it's not something I can control. It's like, gosh, you should control better your skin's, reactions to UV light. Not under your control. All you can do is alter your reactions. You have to be aware of it and try to find ways that you can react in a more positive fashion. cognitive behavioral therapy, which the former editor of Cracked was trying to show. What would you show a time traveler from the past? What would you show them from the present, their future, to take back with them to the past if they could only be here for like 30 seconds? And his decision, his choice was to go to the Wikipedia pages for CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. But if you've been around for a while, and if you Google CBT, you're also going to understand that it stands for something that people that I am not a part of, but people enjoy this sort of painful activity for a pleasurable end. And then they have to go back to the past, knowing that in the future, this is something that the future enjoys. So, yeah. So, while that's not going to prop up my mental stability, it is something that does cheer me up a little bit, and being cheered up, there is actual, on the cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT stuff, there is actual, well, someone who, as a meme, posted online about, is it possible that I can gaslight myself into feeling better? And then went, wait a minute. Is this just cognitive behavioral therapy? And it's, yeah, fake it till you make it actually will work. That's why if you're feeling down, try smiling, because it actually will help. Our bodies are not one-way circuits. Our bodies are sending signals two directions. When your brain tells your body to smile, certain circuits are lit up. And so you smile. And so, because our bodies work in both directions, when you smile, it activates a certain set of nerves that also your brain associates with actually being happy. And you can smile your way into feeling better. Now, this is not oh, you don't need therapy or you don't need drugs. No, this is just something you can do to help yourself. It is not a therapy itself. It is one crutch that you can use while you're helping yourself to heal from a situation where you need a crutch. So it's just a tool in a toolbox, but it actually does work. It's not going to be a great and grand thing, but I've been smiling while I've been talking about some stuff, and that's actually helped my rocking plate there rock a little bit less. It's not going to make it stop, but it's it's going, oh, let's bump up this and get rid of this bit of rock and shake until it's more like this instead of like this. Thumbs up for that. Behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and behavioral therapy works. When I tried to get sober, I had so many people just saying, you have to go, to AA. You have to do AA. If you don't do something like AA, if you don't put faith in this, if you don't get a higher power, if you don't do this, you're never going to get sober. And I could never do that. I had to go to finally force people to send me to a cognitive behavioral therapy place where we used, if you feel this, try doing this. If this is a trigger, try doing this if you're around it. If you're feeling this, try doing this. And you know what worked? Cognitive behavioral therapy. I got sober from that, so I can't remember my original point, but it does work, and emotional stability. So I'm really itchy right here. I've been having a lot of itchies today. My apologies. Plus, I can't remember if I've mentioned this one. This thoroughly irritates me because it's like the universe is trying to just piss me off in particular. As you get older, your skin will itch more because it gets drier, easier, and dry skin itches. But I will get scratchy spots on my body, like let's say I'll get an itch here on my shoulder, because stuff like this will happen. If I just reach over and scratch it a little bit, that'll get rid of it for a moment, and then after about 10 seconds, it'll come back. And maybe itch a little bit more. So I can go over there and scratch it, and then stop, and then it'll come back, except maybe a little bit more. And I have to reach over and scratch, and then keep scratching, and then scratch until it actually physically hurts. Not to the point that I do damage, so that it is actually unpleasant and not good. And only then will it actually stay gone. And it is just so thoroughly irritating to go, oh, there's an itch. Oh, it's back. And then just sit there and grind for like 30 seconds until it is thoroughly unpleasant. But the itch never comes back. Getting older is fun. And I use moisturizing stuff every morning now. I start up here after I wash myself, and I lube up my head and my neck and my arms and my hands. I lube up my feet all the way up. You don't want to get lotion and stuff into any of your skin-to-skin contact points, or any places really where the sun don't be shining, because you don't want skin-to-skin contact, you don't want moisture in a place where there's skin-to-skin contact, and you don't want moisture in a warm, dark, skin-to-skin, moist place. That's asking for just troubles. So there's spots you don't want to lube up, but for the most part, yeah. And I do that, and now I still get itchy because it's fun getting older. But past that, I sort of meant to get down that light in the darkness game so I could show you some of the cards and stuff, because it's a big game while it's in a small box. And it's actually, the game itself is small, it's just it has cards that you put down. You draw cards for monsters, items, and such like that. You have your card for your character and such, but then because the world is randomly created, there are 17 terrain cards, and they're about this big, and there are half circles on each edge, and you take another card when you get onto that half circle, put it next to it so it's a full circle, so you can be there, and now you've got 2 cards for terrain that you can travel through. And there are 17 of them, so your board could get big, especially since there was one of them where I moved upward, drew the card, and the roads and paths through that terrain was such that I was on a dead end here. Everything else was happening up here. So if I wanted to get up here, I would have had to move around and place the terrain cards until I managed to connect upward to get in there and get the stuff done. And they're, like I said, cards about this big, and when you've got 4 of them in a row, that's big. And then let's say you go 4 this way, that's 16 cards. And that's if you decide to put them in a grid while you're laying them down, because if you wanted to, you could just go in a straight path, barring, of course, those situations where you end up on a dead end and have to back up and then curl your way around or just start up on a new branch. So it's pretty big, it's pretty cool, but while it is a replayable game, the replayability is kind of limited in that, again, 17 terrain cards, which is fine. That part's not too bad. But there are like 4 or 5 enemies, and that's it. You draw, whenever there's a fight icon on a board, you draw a monster out of the bag to see what monster you're going to get. And it's only one of, I can't remember if it is 4 or 5. But that's it for monsters. There are no more. And then once you've gotten those monster tactics down, you just got these 17 cards, and there's a limited number of actions with the moves that you can make, and so limited replayability, but it's small. And while it's called a dungeon crawler, solo dungeon crawler, it is an overland adventure because you are traveling through a countryside. There are villages, there are herbs you can pick, you can find treasures, you heal villages of the plague because you can't pass through a village that has the plague. You have to go and get an herb, come back, heal it, then you can pass through it. So as a dungeon crawler, you can say, oh, it's not really, but since you're traveling on a path, you could just say that those are paths underground, and it's a dungeon crawler. Still, it's pretty good. And it's cheap. It's like, I think it was under $20, and you get a pretty good amount in the box. So if you look up Light in the Dark, or Light in the Darkness, one of those, it's I can't remember the name of the company, but they have a setting for a bigger board game that's called Pest. And this game is a solo dungeon crawler set in that setting. So if you look up Pest, Light in the Dark, or Light in the Darkness on Amazon, if you're curious, you can find it. I think it was, like I said, under $20. You get a lot of stuff for the stuff that's in it. Thumbs up for that, very cool. But past that, I don't really have a lot to say because I still cannot remember. Aside from, I think I played some Fallout yesterday. I think. But there's largely just static up here. So joy on that. So if you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up, thank you. You're a beautiful and awesome people. Without your help, I would be a badly hurting monkey instead of just a hurting monkey that I am. And being just a hurting monkey instead of a badly hurting monkey, oh my gosh. Thumbs up and thank you for the step upward. It is appreciated to no end. If I had the spoons, I would type out your names here. Well, if I had the spoons, I'd read your names. If I had no nerve compression and spinal stenosis, I would type your names out. But when you look in the mirror, remember this: you are beautiful and awesome. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Thumbs up for that. And for everybody that leaves me a comment, it is greatly appreciated to no end. Because I am more reclusive, more hermit-like, I don't get a lot of human interaction, so anybody leaving me a comment, it is a thumbs up, thank you. I wish I could answer more. This makes it so hard to type, but I do the best I can. You are beautiful and wonderful. If you could type into the comments "linen fresh" to show the YouTube algorithm that people watch my videos, that would be awesome. Plus it would let me know, and that would be awesome too. Yay! So I'm going to call this one short here. I am going to render, edit, render, upload, and then I still want to go out for real walkies. Haven't done that yet. Don't want to just be stuck in this cracker box all day. So thumbs up for that. So until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. Yeah, nothing special. I know I sometimes go ramble on for quite a bit after I do this, but no, not today. You take care.